For the first problem, let's go ahead and find x first. So we would do the 7 over x, and then that would equal x over 9 and 7 added together. Then cross multiply, so x times x is x squared, and 7 times 16 is 112. To get x by itself, you need to square root both sides. Directions say leave in simplest radical form. So for the 112, we're going to have to go ahead and do a factor tree for that and get 7 times 16. The 16 can break down to 4 and 4, which breaks down to 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So we have 2 pairs of 2's and a leftover 7. So we would take 1, 2, and 1, 2 and multiply those together, and that would be 4. And then our leftover is 7 equals x. So 4 radical 7. For the second problem, to find y, we could go 9 over y equals y over 7. Okay, so 9 over y, y over 7. And cross multiply again, and get y squared. 9 times 7 is 63. Since that's not a perfect square, square root that by doing a factor tree again. So 7 times 9. The 3 is my pair, and the leftover 7 goes inside the radical, so 3 radical 7. For number 2, we have a square garden, so I drew a square. It has 60 feet long on each side. Okay, then it says you stretch a hose from one corner of the garden to the other corner of the garden on the diagonal. So here is the hose. Draw a picture of the garden with the hose. So we've done that. And then we need to go ahead and solve for this length using Pythagorean theorem. So we could say that we have 60 squared plus 60 squared equals the garden hose length, which is c squared. If I go ahead and work out 60 squared, that is 3,600. We would add those together, square root both sides. It says round to the nearest tenth, so we just put that into our calculator, and we would get 84.85. Well, the 5 makes the 8 round up, so we have 84.9 feet. Then for number 3, I went ahead and drew a triangle, and here's my kite up here. While flying a kite, Linda lets out 35 feet of string. So this is your 35 feet of string. And anchors it to the ground. So here's the ground. She determines the angle of elevation of the kite to be 46. So from the ground to the kite, this is 46 degrees. Draw a diagram, then determine the height of the kite from the ground. So from the ground to the kite, that's our x. From this angle, this is our opposite. And we know that this length is across from the right angle, so that's our hypotenuse. If we look at Sakatoa, we have O and H. Well, that's right here. So we need to use sine. So sine 46 equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. So x over 35. To get x by itself, we multiply both sides by 35. Okay. And then in our calculator, we would do 35 times sine 46, and we would make sure that we were in degrees, not radians. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. And that's under mode. Okay, so then if you calculate that, we get 25.17. But it says round to the nearest tenth, so 7 makes the 1 go to 2. And then the label is feet.